Okay, that's a. I mean, it's better than doing the opposite when you record some important stuff for your secret project and then you accidentally stream. That's
Yes, classic. Okay,
okay. Now the stream
is my
works.
voice back to normal at least?
No, it is not.
No.
Okay,
But the stream works and I can hear myself.
let me plug my mic directly into my computer.
Yeah, it sounds like you pretend to be. Um, it sounds like you're a child pretending to have a deep voice. Okay, the stream chat on the YouTube live stream is disabled, so people should use the Discord channel.
Does it work now?
We just stream it. Say that again?
Does it work now?
Yes, now it works.
Alright, well, it didn't like my USB hub, so alright.
Yeah, here we are.
Okay, alright, so let me just stream in Discord, obviously.
Yes.
And hopefully 2 4K streams at once will not,
Yeah.
things. Let's see though. Alright. Cool, so let's get started. Do you want to start the question?
Cool. Yeah, so hey everyone, now we can start. Our first FAQ. We might do this like regularly as a weekly thing, monthly thing, not sure. We'll just see how this works. And yeah, we'll probably have more in the future. Before we get into community questions, I'd just like to say that this is not a time for us to decide who gets keys and who doesn't. We're also not gonna answer, can I get a key? Do I fulfill the requirements? Just, we will have a forum later. You can then just send your request and then probably get a key.
Yep.
Okay, has that been it? If so, then good start.
Cool.
Waiting for you, Citadel.
Yeah, what's the first question?
No, just waiting. Can we start?
What are we starting?
The Q&A.
Yeah, I mean like, but what is the first question?
Yeah, sure. First question is, will the P2CE campaign be included in the open beta? I can say that nope, it won't.
Yeah.
The open beta is the extended beta we're doing now replaces the need of the open beta that we had. Once we release, it will still be a beta. But yeah, now we're trying to give more people access. But the campaign will take a while to complete.
Yeah.
Who came up with the idea for the Chaos Engine? How will it be used to make other games?
Yeah,
that's
Citadel
for
came
you, I
up
think.
with it, I think, right?
Yeah. It was kind of like we all kind of agreed that it could be used for that purpose, but I guess it was the original idea primarily came from me, just because there's not really anything out there right now. Well, there wasn't really anything out there before we came along that was sort of like a shared base for licensed mods. I mean, there was map base for SDK 2013 stuff, but there wasn't anything for licensed mods, and I didn't really, it wasn't really that good seeing licensed projects having to redo work over and over again. So we're kind of trying to create a licensed branch where licensees can collaborate and share a common code base. So I'm not saying we're aiming to be Source 1.5, but I can see that that's where a lot of people could call us that, because we're definitely trying to make Source 1 as good as it can be. It's not going to be anywhere near Source 2, but we're aiming to fix all of the pain points with it. So yeah, that's kind of like an overview of
Yeah.
Where we can come on that.
Yeah, I think the homepage chaosinitiative.com also explains well like what it's about, and it was just that a lot of licensed projects didn't share code, and so all of their effort was always wasted. And the same reason why P2C was created is why Chaos was created.
Yeah.
But yeah. Um, will I be able to make task tools? I don't see a reason why you couldn't.
Yep. I mean that is probably. Yeah. I mean that's. You can kind of. I don't know. Can you already do that with Source with demos?
Yeah, I mean, of course you can run custom input stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe he means that, or she. Sorry, maybe they mean that that they can make that with Chaos script or whatever. Probably. Yeah. I mean, I don't see a reason why you couldn't make task tools.
Yeah. Yeah.
When will Chaos script start? It's beta, alpha phase. If you have any idea.
We don't really have an idea right now. I mean, things are coming along nicely with it. There are other priorities like Panorama and stuff, and the workshop integration, of course. So it kind of depends on when we finish workshop and Panorama. So I don't really have an answer for that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the priorities right now are getting Panorama done, getting workshop done, fixing a lot of bugs and that stuff. Chaos script really is like an optional thing that we don't focus on right now, but that will be pushed, later once we have more time. It is also the base of we need Chaos script to make like the new hammer, new puzzle maker, all that. So it is definitely important, but yeah, for now we focus on Panorama and that stuff. So it will still take some time. Cool. Which specific feature should and shouldn't be expected to see in the first public P2C release? A specific feature. Well, we can count a lot of specific features. In general, you can always look at the GitHub issues and see what issues are closed, and closed issues that are also assigned to a type enhancement, or type bug. Those are completed issues. So yeah, that way you can really keep track of what is added to P2C. I mean, if you have a specific question about a specific feature, if that's in the first public release, then ask that. Otherwise, I don't really know which one you're referring to. Are there any new engine tools, and are the existing ones functional in P2C?
I don't think we have plans for any engine tools or anything. I mean, I guess you could consider the puzzle maker thing that we kind of want to do at some point an engine tool. So
It's not really a tool because it's integrated directly. You don't have to run it through Dash Tools.
yeah, but yeah, as far as I'm aware, all of the existing tools are functional, and I've been porting them to Linux as well, so they'll be usable on Linux. So
Yeah, stuff like particle editor, commentary editor, probably all that works. But for new ones, not so much. We'd rather make them with Chaos script or something, but then we can open source them. Has a Valve employee ever commented on the development of P2C? If so, what did they say? Not directly. I mean, they have reviewed our game and said that, yeah, this is something that we want to allow to happen, but we haven't heard this is great, this is bad. Valve is really neutral about that, which I think is good. But yeah, we don't really have much interaction with Valve that on that level.
Yeah. I mean, it would be really nice if we could work more closely with Valve, definitely, but that's obviously something that is pie in the sky sort of territory.
Yeah. Are there any plans for the new puzzle maker yet? So there are of course plans, but not plans to work on it right now. We need to have Chaos script finished and tested and all that before we can start on Puzzle Maker. But what I can tell you is that once we do it, it will be much more advanced than PTI is. I often hear people ask like, "Oh, is the palette going to be extended in P2CE's Puzzle Maker?" Which makes me chuckle because we have much grander ideas than just extending the palette. We're remaking it all from scratch, so yeah, definitely expect it to be more advanced than the current Puzzle Maker is, at least. But yeah, it won't be done in the near future. What are you doing? They're still messing around in the map.
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
You could just play Portal 2. I don't know.
Yeah, I want to start with my favorite map, SPA 3 Speed Flings.
Yes, the best test map ever. When we get to some Hammer questions, you can also show the new Hammer stuff.
Yeah.
How compatible are other Portal 2 based mods? Standard Purple Aperture Attack with P2C, including mods that don't make any major changes to the engine.
So we're trying to go for
Yeah.
full backwards compatibility with mods. The only thing that will change is the tooling workflow for, the tools as in Hammer. So there will be a couple of things that are going to be different with Hammer that you will need to do, but otherwise there won't be any kind of conversion required for mods. You'll be able to load them directly. So if you wanted to play Aperture Tag or Mel, then that would be fine. They wouldn't need to convert anything in order to run them.
Yes. As for the tools, like, we're making a completely new workflow for tools because the old workflow is pretty clunky and just doesn't work well. You will still be able to use all of the old features in Hammer, so don't worry about that. We won't cut any of the features. We're just gonna add new ones. However, we did recently change things like moving all of the Hammer configuration into out of bin and into like a Hammer folder or into platform, just so it's more organized. Yeah, but the main game is completely compatible.
Yeah.
I ported, so I don't want to talk about my own mod too much here, but I ported my own mod like by just copy pasting files, so that shows how compatible it is.
Yeah, and I mean, we haven't modified any of the Portal 2 maps, so...
Yeah. Will the Puzzle Maker be close to as feature rich as Hammer? Close with feature rich as Hammer. Well, no, because Puzzle Maker has entirely different purpose than Hammer. Hammer is supposed to be like a do everything yourself thing, where you can do everything and not just portal maps. But Puzzle Maker will always just be for making portal puzzles. Well, I like to add more flexibility with like making visuals and like having not being locked onto a 6:4 onto a 128 by 128 grid. Yeah, it still won't be the same as Hammer because then it isn't Puzzle Maker anymore, is it?
Yeah, no.
Has there ever been a list of features you guys wanted to implement but eventually realized it wasn't gonna be possible?
Well, I guess you could look at our closed GitHub issues. Maybe that would kind of be a good starting spot for that.
Yeah. There's really anything notable that I could think of like off the top of my head that like made me angry that we couldn't do it or something. But of course, there's always stuff that you can spend. There's only a limited amount of hours in a day, so you can't work on everything, and you gotta prioritize what stuff is more important. But I can't really think of anything that like that we were incapable of doing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been some suggestions of like internal engine changes, like large scale ones that, really aren't possible.
Yeah,
So-
those ones.
But that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we aren't expecting to make source free here.
Yep.
Please tell me, man, who create maps for Portal 2 and working from back? with access to for closed beta project. Let me read that again. Who create Portal 2 maps?
Sorry, what? What was the question?
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble reading that. Man who create maps for Portal 2 and working with Mapbase 4 can have access for your local project.
Let me read it.
I think they mean that someone who creates maps for Portal 2. Yeah, that is a question about if they can get access, so we will skip that. Just send in your, I could say, you know, your request and we'll look at it. What's the status of Panorama UI? Yeah, so Panorama, the backend is fully done and will be pushed in the next update to beta testers. So everyone can already start with working on their own Panorama stuff. It's so buggy and clunky, like main menu music stuff doesn't work properly, and there'll still be other issues. But it works so far. I got it to render. So I'm working on like the Panorama, the user interface side of things. And what I'm working on right now is like a template, a preset thing, which is like supposed to be a very basic UI that people can then use for their own interfaces. So if you start a mod, you can use that template, which just has like buttons for options, buttons for play game, quit game, all that. Because P2CE's UI is going to be much more elaborate and advanced, so having a like cut down template is good. And also, I'm using that learning experience to then be better at creating P2C's UI.
Yep.
So yeah, that's it's looking really good so far. It's definitely their focus right now.
Alright, cool. Next question.
Has there been a feature that was originally thought to be impossible when development began, that has since been found to be implementable? So have you ever thought that something couldn't be implemented, but then we could?
Let me think. I mean, I think a few times, like maybe I thought it would be kind of hard to do like a scripting thing, like FacePunch was doing for Source 2 for Chaos Script, and then like we kind of looked into it and it wasn't. It was actually pretty feasible, and that was what became Chaos Script.
Yeah, I think often software development is just like that you first think of something, think that's impossible, I'll never be able to do that, I'm too dumb for that, but eventually you get around to learn how it works and then you can implement it.
Yeah.
And we're definitely not like I don't think we're the kind of people who like think we're too dumb and then give up that easily. But yeah, well, that kind of stuff happens all the time, of course.
Yeah.
Will a solo campaign be remade to take full advantage of the new features? No. So the Portal 2 campaign that that you're seeing him still play in the stream right now will not be touched at all. It should be the same thing. So we want you to be able to experience Portal 2 in the P2C engine. Just because why not have it there? We will have a custom campaign, but that is like a completely from scratch thing. A completely original campaign, new story, which isn't that exciting. It's more like the co-op story. And yeah, that. But the original campaign won't be touched.
Yep.
How will the custom workshop asset packaging work? How functional is it now, and how much will we be able to customize it?
So we haven't really started on on workshop stuff yet. But once it is in place, basically what you'll be able to do is basically upload essentially a VPK to the workshop. So you won't have to deal with packing stuff into BSPs anymore. Sort of like the system that Gary's mod uses for its add-ons, but just using BPKs or whatever. So, in all, it should be a lot simpler to pack assets.
Yeah, I think Gmod, as well as Left 4 Dead, Alien Swarm have that system.
Yeah,
don't
they
they?
do. Yeah.
So if we could just look at how they did it there, because that code is, we have some of the code.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have after Left 4 Dead actually. Will the co-op campaign be updated a bit? No, it won't. I mean so there are like some changes to how we will recompile them probably, so you will have ambient occlusion, and it's because of some shader changes in CS:GO. Some areas look a bit better, but it won't be like a remaster. Just little touches. So don't expect anything crazy.
Yeah.
What's the biggest problem you guys faced or are facing during development?
I would say probably physics, right? Because we don't have vPhysics source code, so like debugging that's kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, physics, and now we also have a really bad sound issue.
Oh, yeah. That cutout thing.
Yeah, so basically that sound issue is that randomly when playing, the sound would just mute for a couple of seconds and then come back again. It doesn't throw an error message in the console, it doesn't throw an assertion, it doesn't throw an exception, it doesn't crash, it doesn't do anything, it doesn't log anything, it's just there. It is not reproducible, we have no idea where it comes from, but it's such a critical bug that it needs to be fixed before we can release, and we have no idea where to start looking for it. That is the best bug to fix.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun.
It's critical, unreproducible, and absolutely random.
I'm sure we can eventually fix it. Eventually. But
yeah,
it's not going to be easy.
And also now, delaying something is also never easy. This doesn't have anything to do with development, but yeah, we try and force this with momentum, which made us, we had to work together with them to get our engine done and all that. It is so fun to work with them, and we're getting so much more stuff done. But that just hit on our schedule a bit, which is why we had to delay it, and I guess that could be considered something that is always hard to do, to delay a product.
Yeah, kind of figuring out collaboration.
That also, yeah. Yeah, we're going through a lot of systems of how to collaborate together with them. What direction do you plan on taking the development? Are there any goals you would like to achieve post-release?
I mean, definitely the scripting stuff. That's, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely the scripting stuff, and then just general, polishing, making, extending the campaign. We want to have a thing where we have featured campaigns. So it's, P2C is focused around the community. So we want to focus around like the workshop submissions, what the community is doing, feature some of the best maps, so they don't, because currently on the Portal 2 workshop it's easy to get lost. If you make a good map, it's even if you spend a lot of time, it would sometimes just get buried. So we would like to have some featured maps and maybe even host competitions and all that. So yeah, once we release 1.0, that won't be it. How open do you guys will it be towards smaller feature requests later in development?
I mean, I think we're open to feature requests, always, so.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah, I don't think that will change anything.
It really depends on, who is there to pick up the feature requests, how much time we have.
Yeah.
Because obviously, we can kind of just, pick up whatever we want.
Yeah, and also adding a small feature. Sorry, my fault. Adding a small feature is less work than adding a big feature, so I don't see anything that
Yeah.
should be different. How cool are the developers of this mod? I think we all
0.
settled on Epic because that has the or 100. 100 has
0.
the most votes. 0.
Nice.
100
Now everyone's
has
going
the most
100.
votes. 100 has the most votes. We will start making the campaign. Honestly, no idea what I should talk about this. Campaign hasn't even been started because our tools is just like our whole tooling is still not figured out.
Yeah.
It's getting there though, so
Yeah, definitely. How does Puzzle Maker work in this game? Is it like Portal 2 or something else? It's supposed to be like Portal 2, but just you have more control. You can have walls smaller than 64 units, change the themes in game, have just like more control over the visuals, more elements, easier to add palette stuff. Like instead of just having one large palette, you would have like tabs or categories and filters and all that. So yeah, it will be much more advanced. I think I talked about it already, but yeah. How did the idea for this come along? Did you think the project would go on this far from its initial conception? That sounds like a similar core question.
Yeah. So originally this sort of emerged from a project to kind of do some reverse engineering on Source and Portal 2, and I was trying to. I was also doing some stuff with like Source 2 and trying to reverse engineer that, but that's a story for another day. But basically, I just thought like a lot of mods, like I'll give Desolation here as an example, but I don't have anything against Desolation. They have source code access, but what are they implementing? They're just essentially implementing stuff that they need for their own game. I had the idea that it would really be beneficial to have a democratic community determined mod. So a mod with source code access could actually be put to use benefiting the whole community instead of just one team. And then other mods could also share those improvements. So yeah, I saw the opportunity and I went for it. So I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah. Just to restate, don't have anything against Desolation. It of course makes sense that you only implement features you need for your mod.
Yeah.
It's just so frustrating that Valve doesn't license out to other modders that much. And that basically Portal 2 modding is really limited, and you really need source code access to do a lot of stuff, and otherwise you just need the code. And Valve doesn't give it out. They only have one team out there that had the code.
Yeah.
I also wanted to get code for my mod, and then I later joined forces with Citadel to work on P2CE, and use the engine for my mod too, and work on this too. So yeah. Also, your spacebar is very loud.
Oh yeah.
Will you expose an API or something that for the leaderboards in CM? What does the CM stand for there? Auto update times and portals and speedruns leaderboards.
I mean, those would just be Steam leaderboards, right? So you could just query them from the Steam API.
Yeah, we haven't really thought about like that stuff too much yet. So I will probably get back to that. How much, because we are joining forces with Momentum and we want to share features, so we will probably have some stuff like ghosting, or something like that in P2CE too. So, but we haven't really discussed it yet. So we should probably talk about this and then get to it later.
Yeah.
yeah, and I would
Next.
probably open an issue for that with like a
Yeah.
better description. So
Yeah, or open a discussion page on GitHub. There's a new discussion tab. You can open one there if it's not related to an issue.
Okay, I might go ahead and do that. I'm working on the newer leaderboards for the Portal 2 speedrunning community right now. And things like auto-updating demo files or things that we're looking to do.
Yeah, that would be really cool if you could do that.
Alright,
But
cool.
we haven't really
I'll start
decided on
discussion.
how that works.
Thank you.
Yeah. Will there be multi-language support? I mean, it is still Source. Source had that since ever since, yeah, since Source could always do multiple languages. But I think the question is rather, will we translate this into multiple languages? Probably, yeah, late in development. We'll just have English for the most part, and then, do like a batch translate of that stuff.
Yeah, well, obviously,
Because
we'll get translators when we need them, essentially.
yeah, I can translate German, but for others, I think the community will be able to, will be, keen to translate.
Yeah.
What is the first thing that made you? What is this when looking at the source engine code without giving too much detail that would break NDA?
I don't think we can really go into that.
Yeah.
But I can just say that there's a lot of stuff that's like, what the fuck? So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to like shit at Valve. But what is most frustrating for me is the lack of like testing, unit testing and that stuff. So you would always just have to run the game and see if it works. And setting up like a controlled environment is a lot of effort if you could even do it, and then it's, the question, is it even worth it setting all that up? Something just that annoys me a lot when working with Source. But that is just how it is when we work on a large code base, I guess.
Yeah.
Will it make particle editor more intuitive and easy to understand? Probably not. I don't think so. Or do you have any plans for that?
I mean, I haven't really heard anybody complain about the particle editor, so.
Yeah, me neither. It is still a development tool, so it will be complicated, I guess. But it doesn't look too bad for me.
Yeah. You can
I think the problem is just
run it. You can run it. You can run it in P2CE like in
Yeah.
game now. Well, and it doesn't crash when you run a map.
Yeah, yeah. I think what is the most confusing about stuff like this is that I don't know if there's much tutorials and documentation out there on that. Especially in the Portal 2 community, partly the editor is a bit more obscure because it doesn't work in Portal 2, so less people have experience with that. But I don't think we will be touching it. How will mods user interface be implemented? Will we have some extra menu workaround? No, because we have Panorama. You can do everything in Panorama. Already talked about how the template works. You can still use VGI if you want. In that case, yes, you will need to use the extras workaround, but I don't see a reason not to use Panorama.
Yep.
Will there be a page for one to publicly translate so the community can translate it? Can think about that. When we get to that, could think about it, because I'm doing some web tools and stuff, so we could do that.
I mean, yeah, we could probably also just make like a GitHub repository or something.
Yeah, that's also right. We don't really need
So-
to put that much effort into like creating extra tools for that. But we will probably like community have community contributed translations, and also peer review them so people don't put invalid stuff in there.
Yeah, like
Can we
funny
yeah.
Peter Griffin.
Yes. Can we expect more or less crashes from P2C Hammer? So while we of course, when we're adding a feature, we're trying not to add a crash. But other than that, debugging crashes is a bit difficult. Debugging, like when the game crashes and you have it attached to your debugger in Visual Studio, for example, then you can like debug it. But otherwise, if it crashes just on one of you guys' PC, then it's not really easy to debug for us. Fixing the crashes definitely isn't much of a priority, unless we introduce some and it is easy to reproduce. but those random crashes, I don't think we will be able to fix all of them. Momentum
Well, I
is
mean-
also working on Hammer, so we're not alone on this.
We've been fixing crashes with Hammer and stuff, right? So I mean, it's probably more stable.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I use Hammer. I use P2CE Hammer a lot. It doesn't crash on me a lot, but it still does. So, yeah.
Well, we should probably prioritize fixing that. So
How long is the P2C campaign going to be, and how much of a narrative will it have? So how long I can tell you that. We will basically have like a track for each new testing element. Like for colored lasers, we'll have a testing element for that. For adhesion shell, we'll have a testing track for that. Those will not have a set length. Those will just be as long as how many puzzles we can come up with. So if we can come up with like 5 puzzles for it that are interesting and not just the same over and over, then it will just have 5. If we can make 10 of, then we'll have 10. But the P2C campaign is not supposed to be like released at once. It's a progress. So over the course of development, new campaigns will unlock. In terms of narrative, the P2C campaign works like a hub. You start in a hub and then you can select your track. Sort of like the co-op, just a single player. And the narrative will be similar to that. Bit of a story and some voice acting, but not a dramatic story like you would expect a proper Portal 2 mod to have. Because that is not really what P2C is about. Following on that, will it be a Lost Coast style tech demo or something more? Lost Coast. Lost Coast isn't. Yeah, it is a tech demo, but it is still a fun level. Yeah, I think I just said what the campaign is, so that's probably the answer. It will be more than a tech demo, but it will also serve the purpose of being a tech demo.
it's going to be longer than Lost Coast. So
Yeah, definitely. It was the funniest bug that ever occurred. That just randomly happened during development. That made you, or at least one of you, laugh. The funniest one.
I think
Well,
there's a lot of this. There was a lot of them. There has been a lot of them, I will say.
Yeah. Like especially when you do graphic stuff or mess around with that and you mess up, it like leads to very ridiculous results. JJ is working on DXVK stuff, and that is just like it just flickers all over the place, polygons going mad, going nuts.
yeah, the multi-core rendering is pretty broken with it. So that's fun.
Yeah. One thing I was working on a feature for conveyor belts, and I just I messed up something in the code and everything will just fly away. So stuff like that.
How about the crash? Like, was it like last Thursday or Friday when the turret shot the monitor with Wheatley on it?
Oh yeah.
That. yeah, that was also funny. Yeah. Should probably debug that and see what happens. How many beta testers do you plan to accept? We don't really have a set number. I mean, we ordered a specific number of keys. I don't know if we should reveal them, like how many keys we have. But like we won't do okay. The first so many people will get a key and the rest will be cut out. And if we need more keys, then we can always order new ones. That is no problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's no set in stone number. But in general, we want to have more people get access to the game so they can break it, use it. Because now it's much more workable than it was a couple months ago. If someone wanted to contribute in some way to the mod, what are some of the ways they could currently? Once we start with the campaign properly, we'll probably announce that. So basically, like anything to do with code, is not necessary. Even if you want to be a chaos scripter for the campaign, I don't think that really is that really needs to be there because we can code that. But yeah, we definitely need like mappers, texture artists, definitely texture artists, modelers, people that make particles, playtesters. Not sure how many dedicated playtesters we'll have. Probably people that really know how to break the game. So those would rather more be like pen testers. But yeah, once we get around to working on the campaign, we will take on more community members. How long would it take to port a Portal 2 mod to P2C? So the porting process of porting a mod goes like this. You take your folder, you take all of the stuff, you put it into a mod wrapper, that's it. It is copy-paste. Currently setting up the mod wrapper and cast and all that is a bit tedious because you need to do it manually. But once you've done it, you just need to copy your content. With the SDK launcher, we want to add just a button where you can say create mod, and it will set up everything for you, or even like migrate source mod to mod wrapper setup, and then you can just port it automatically. So, as in needing to change maps, needing to change your materials, there's nothing because we're fully backwards compatible. So yeah, there's no porting process there. You would need to update your VGUI stuff to Panorama. That is what you would have to do there.
Well, you can still run your you're not going to be forced to update your
That
UI
is true.
to Panorama. You can run it in legacy mode, which is what we're using for P2CE now. What we have is a command line option where you can run P2CE with -legacy UI, and then what this will do is it'll switch to the old VGUI based system over Panorama. So yeah.
Yeah, that is right. That is right. If you don't want to use Panorama, then you don't need to. But if you want to, then you gotta you don't have to make it from scratch, obviously. But that is one thing.
Yeah,
What kind of tools will P2C's offering tools SDK feature? What kind of new tools may include? So the only tools we plan to remake is Hammer. We don't plan to remake Phase Poser. Or like Model Viewer, because Model Viewer and Model Browser are supposed to be the same program, so that in the new Hammer you can the Model Browser has the same functionality as like what Half-Life Model Viewer currently has. But apart from that, we don't really make any other tools. Is Portal 1 support planned? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
we have. Sorry, go ahead.
Go on. No, you go ahead. You haven't settled something.
We have
in a while.
some like backwards or some like Portal 1 features kind of backported to P2C, like the cursor and stuff. And there's going to be Portal 1 movement support and stuff. So yeah. And we also have support for Portal 1 maps and models.
Yeah, the assets are compatible. And we want to allow modders to make a Portal 1 look and feel mod in P2C2. Only main differences in that Portal 1 has or Portal 2 is the movement physics. Assets, which are easy to port because we have the compatibility, and the stuff like the crosshair, the portal gun. So yeah, you will be able to make a Portal 1 feeling mod in Portal 2. CE. How correctly is what?
I mean, it works. So
How correctly do cascade shadow mapping work in P2C? It works perfectly. Only problem we have right now is that it doesn't show through portals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we should probably fix. But you can look at the. I'm sorry to mention my mod again, but you can look at the gameplay teaser 4 of Portal Revolution that uses P2C engine and showcases the cascaded shadow mapping.
Do we have a map that I can compile and show off CSM?
Just load a CS:GO map.
We have P2C show off.
I don't want to open VS Code because that's.
We have P2C show off
Yeah. Okay.
or P2C showcase, something like that.
Is it my cool show off?
No, it's P2C showcase.
Ah, okay, right, this one. Ah, yes. Oh, is this how it's meant to look?
That is the way. Yeah, it was never finished. I just messed around with P2C hammer.
Okay.
The skybox is just set to white. That is why I see that. How well will the teaching shell be implemented, or how well is it implemented right now? Does it work properly? No. It is implemented, but the camera stuff isn't done, and it's still jank.
Yeah,
But it is workable. If you want to create your own puzzles for your mod, then you can start using it. But it will be janky.
We're probably gonna fully rewrite it, honestly.
Yeah, not panorama. Adhesion shell code was cut. A lot of that code was cut out from the Portal 2 repo. It's weird. I don't see any CSM there.
Yeah, maybe I didn't.
I mean, I could say just load up Revolution, but
yeah, no.
on the stream maybe not.
Yeah.
Because I did update it recently on Steam. You mentioned mods are fully backwards compatible. Does this include Bing video included in mods? No, that is something we forgot. Yeah. So we switched from Bing to WebM. Not only because WebM is a much more efficient format, much smaller format, much more modern format, easier to work with, but also because we don't have the binaries for Bing. So that is something you will have to change. And to port it, you will just have to export it as WebM, which is supported by any video editor. You can just use Kdenlive or something to do that, which is free and open source. So, yeah.
And for we don't have binaries because it requires a license, and the license is not cheap. And so
yes.
Yeah. We don't need it.
Yeah, so we just use WebM.
WebM is better. It's like
WebM. It is better. Yeah. What is that?
Why would you pay for a proprietary format that's worse than WebM? So
maybe you could show us some of the hammer features that I added.
Yeah.
If you even know all the stuff that we added. I posted the changelog somewhere. I could send it in again if you want.
Yeah, send it. So I'm not gonna remember that.
I send it in voice. I just posted full changelog markdown file. Nothing secret in there. Yeah, Discord encoding doesn't like the pink and black checkerboard.
Again, this is gonna open with VS Code, so.
Yes. Well, then just open it in some other editor.
Yeah, I'm gonna open it with.
Would there be interest in making a cross-platform version of Hammer with the Windows dependencies stripped? So yeah, the current MFC Hammer, I think JJ, you could then in a second talk about how porting that is difficult and all that. But our new Hammer will be completely cross-platform and open source.
Yeah, so MFC is a Windows-only, UI library, so it's just not feasible importing it to another platform. So that's kind of like why we're rewriting it, and also because Hammer's an old program and MFC's kind of crap anyways. So I think so it's just we're gonna rewrite it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke just answered the question. Will KS Engine support any form of Vulkan or alternative render API? Positive translation layer. Yeah, we're working on DXVK and DX11. DX11 is almost done. That is what the Momentum guys are doing.
Yep, it's going to be merged soon-ish, apparently. So, and yeah, you'll be able to launch that and try it out at some point in P2CE. And on Linux, it'll run through DXVK. So, yeah.
The hammer will be open source, yes, because we're making it in. It is the new hammer runs on Chaos Script, which is written in C#, which is all of our code. So there's nothing under NDA there.
Yeah, and
It
all the
just
Chaos
hooks into the
Script
engine.
stuff. Yeah, all the Chaos Script stuff's open source as well. So
Yep.
it's not. We haven't really done that much with it, so it's all like unfinished and it hasn't been touched for like a couple weeks. But yeah,
We got some proof of concept stuff working though. Got to start it a bit, but now we're refocusing on Panorama properly because yeah. Will all versions of Triple Laser be included in P2CE? If you upload them to the workshop, yes. AV1 support for WebM. Hardware decoding. Yeah, Citadel, that's something for you.
Yeah, so that... What was the question again, sorry?
Hardware decoding for WebM.
Yeah, okay, so that's just like a really easy one. That's just for us to switch the actual text to conversion for WebM to a shader so that it doesn't have to be done on the CPU. Because as you can imagine, decoding 30 FPS 4K is not great real time, especially if you have multiple videos at once. So yeah. Once it's moved to a shader like Bink has, then it'll be easy, and that it's easy to do anyway. So, yeah, that should be done fairly soon. Maybe in the next update even.
Implement Source Filmmaker in this project. We don't have
No.
access to that, so no,
Yeah, it's
that
not-
is
it's
not
not-
on our radar.
sadly, no.
Not at all.
Unless of course Valve would be kind enough to give us the code, but somehow
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
And I don't know. I also don't think if we like really want to work on like improving Source Filmmaker and all that, we aren't really
Yeah.
interested. You know, we're not really in the community. We don't know how all of that stuff works. So probably not. Even if we got the code, we wouldn't touch it that much. I think. I understand the original campaign won't be touched. You still have plans to improve challenge mode, removing unskippable cutscenes. Yeah, as said, we don't know how all of the speedrunning and like challenge stuff will be handled because we don't. Portal 2 already has that, and we don't plan to like mirror Portal 2 that much. P2C is supposed to be its own thing. We gotta talk about that probably, how like speedrunning stuff works. But we could have a, I mean, something that I think would be cool if we had a challenge mode similar to Portal 1, where like the levels are actually different. So it's more like the advanced chambers. I think that would be cool. If community contributors would like to, make custom versions of this, so we could even have a 15,000 color laser, triple laser,
Yes.
as the challenge mode. Will P2C hammer contain volumetric lighting entity? Yes, already does. That isn't a hammer thing though, it's just an entity. So projected textures have the option for volumetrics, which is a bit broken at the moment, but it does work. Mystic already answered that, so yes. In the original game, there's a bunch of stuff that makes level loading unnecessarily long. Community has been able to shorten level loading times by several seconds. Plugin already removes a bunch of stuff. His loading screens. Yeah, so I know that one of the reasons the loading times are so long is because in the loading screen Portal 2 switches through like 4 pictures, and that transition period stops the loading process, which is of course which makes them load longer. Since we will switch to Panorama, I don't know if that is still a problem. I don't think so. I already have the CS:GO map loading screen working in P2C, and that works fine. It has a loading bar and all, and it doesn't seem to be slow. But
I think it seems a little bit faster actually with the panorama loading stuff. So
yeah, you would expect it to if it doesn't have the pausing stuff anymore. But I just haven't really tested it that much, so I can't. I don't want to give like a yes/no answer on that. I know that the speedrunning community is really upset by all of the loading time stuff. I don't think it really. Yeah, probably something we should look into. Just don't know if we should probably discuss this, like how important that stuff is. What exactly are the planned updates to Hammer? Version control options despite the fact it uses perforce. So do you mean new Hammer, how that would look, or existing Hammer? Existing Hammer would still receive updates, just like little quality of life improvements, but not huge stuff like, I don't know. Yeah, put engine into the viewport with like Foundry, all that stuff, which is actually much easier with Chaos Script. Yeah, and new Hammer would just be. I'm thinking about doing stuff like having our switching away from FGD and having a much more elaborate syntax, so you have more control over what the values mean and all that. I really want to go deep into like usability, making it modern, making it look good, making it intuitive, making it fast to use, but still keeping the workflow the same as with old Hammer. But yeah, I could go into more detail on either of those topics if any of you guys want. Will the airboat sheep have 2 weapons be in the game?
weapons, I think yes, right?
Yeah, we have weapons and vehicles. And, well, I
Okay.
think we're gonna have pretty much everything from Half-Life 2 in P2CE.
Oh god,
It is gonna be jank, but
there's gonna be so many maps on the workshop.
yeah.
Yeah.
Funny Chell G-Man map.
Silly, wacky crossovers.
I mean, it could also be cool, you know.
Oh, of course.
Every hole is a chance for glory, as Carl Sagan 42 once said, who
Yes.
stole that quote from someone else. Will there be any interesting changes, enhancements to particle system? I don't think so.
I don't know how you would even improve on that anyway.
I think it works really well already.
Yeah.
Unless there's
If you
like
have
some.
if you have anything in mind, like, of course, discuss it with us or open a discussion on GitHub.
Yeah.
Or open an issue on GitHub. So
Yeah, sure. Open a discussion if you have any, specific thing. But in general, we don't know too much about particle system and like what the problems of it are. It seems really advanced and complete to me, at least.
yeah.
Oh, he was. I think they were asking about the Leonard Jones stuff. I'll go into that like really quick. Yeah, so that stuff was just like a cool kind of fluid simulation thing. It's just another particle system like operator. So, but yeah, that's not really an improvement to particle systems themselves, like how the system works, but it's just like another variable that you can use, another modifier.
Now it's a difficult task, but do you have any plans to rewrite V-physics? No.
No, there is a bullet physics like rewrite of V physics on GitHub. But yeah, as far
It's
as I'm
jank.
aware, it has someone rewrote it with bullet 3 and it's better now, but it's still got issues.
It'll never
something-
be able to replace V physics.
And also, we
Yeah.
want to keep the backwards compared.
Yeah, of course. It's something that, I wanted to do on my own, but definitely not for this project. I don't think it's ever going to see the light of day here, so.
Although
No.
if some like Chaos Developer wants to come along and implement it as an alternative to vPhysics, then we could always let people use it with a launch option or something like that. But it's not really going to bring any benefit to the project.
Yeah, and like if you have it as a launch option, is it even better? Because like the only reason to remove Havoc really is to go around the $25,000 license, isn't it? And if you have both, you will still have to pay that license. So yeah.
Well, and
I would-
also, like the
I would
benefit,
actually be interested if you really don't have to pay anything to make a commercial wealth game if you get rid of all of the stuff, like Havoc.
I don't think that's the case, but what I was going to say
Should
is,
ask just wealth.
if we rewrote it, it would, let us fix bugs, but obviously to maintain backwards compatibility, we still have to keep, the old vPhysics, so we'd still have to work around the bugs.
Next question is about modding stuff. I guess I can answer this because it needs some clarification, I think. For the beta test, you guys said you should be a modder who wants to play around with making their own portal mod. A big part is making custom tools. So I mean we have to be someone who makes public mods for source engines. I mean, I don't think it's. I don't know. You don't need to make a mod. But it would be cool if if we wanted to test something that you guys would be up, that our beta testers could help us debug something or give feedback on how the workflow is or something like that. So we just need people who know much enough about Source, like in general, the entire how a lot of the system works and interact with each other. Instead of just people that have like recently started how to map.
Yeah, I was the one who wrote the FAQ, so I apologize for the lack of clarification there. But yeah, like it's nice to have playtesters who are like messing around with the new stuff we add. And if somebody gets this and they don't make maps or mods or anything, and they just kind of play the Portal 2 campaign, it's useful, but at the same time, it's also useful to have somebody who is making maps and playing around with the new stuff we add. So
will Chaos Script support more programming languages? Yes. So Chaos Script is a .NET 5 runtime. That means that any language that compiles into the .NET intermediary language, I forgot what it's called now, can be used. We will endorse using C# because it's the most popular and main and most sensible to use if you use .NET. But if you're crazy enough to dabble with Iron Python or F# or something, then feel free to try it.
I mean, yeah. So
Yeah.
exactly what Taewon said, but it really depends how many C# specific features we want to use in Chaos Script. Like we're going to use attributes to denote events, for example. So you could apply like an event attribute to a method, when it gets called when a certain event happens. So like you might not be able to use F# or Visual Basic for that sort of stuff, but you could totally invoke Visual Basic and F# from your C# scripts. It's just might not integrate very well with Chaos Script itself. If that makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that the thought of using a lot of languages is cool, I think, but it's it is of course fun to do that for just messing around. But if you want to actually program something, then I think that using something other than C# is just more hassle than it's worth.
Yeah, the only language that will officially be supported by us will be C#.
Yeah, which is a great language. It is very modern. I love it, of course. I know that others don't like it. But yeah, there has to be some language that is the main one. And I think C# is a really good language to use. Extremely stupid questions. Portal 2 and Standard Parable are on the same engine. Does it mean it would be possible to port Standard Parable to P2C better than you would be able to port it to Portal 2? Well, you can always mount the assets on it. I don't see any reason you can't do that. The engine, for the standard purpose, they edited the engine, so you will probably not have stuff like the main menu, the computer screen, and that stuff. I don't know how that's set up. But you can give it a go.
Yeah, you'd have to re-implement all the entities and stuff. So
How easy is it to implement custom creatures or AI?
we haven't really gotten to that point with Chaos Script. So I mean, it's kind of hard to say, but the idea is you'd be able to derive from classes that are defined in C++ and C Sharp, and it'd kind of just be like, modding the source SDK, but with C Sharp, if that makes sense, with some limitations and some extra stuff. So
how moddable will P2C really be? Will it go to roughly the same extent as 2014, more or less? So it is an open source. We can't release the code. What you can do is use Chaos Script once it is done. In the terms of moddability, as in like using Hammer, making assets, Panorama, like the whole GUI stuff is so much more flexible with Panorama. In VGUI, you couldn't do anything. You always had to use you had to edit source code to change something, and in Panorama you have full control. You can write your own JavaScript in the future, also to integrate it into Chaos Script. So it will be much more moddable than Portal 2, definitely. 2013 SDK, I don't know if it is more moddable than that or less moddable. Maybe JJ knows more about that.
We'll have to see, but we're not going to be exposing like every class that exists. We're going to make some type of like glue class, like C-base entity or something that you could derive from.
Yeah.
So there'd be stuff like that, but it's not going to be like...
It'll probably be very restrictive. Well, I mean, it will be... You won't be able to access like really internal stuff, but... yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to be like... You're not going to have everything from the source SDK or everything that's defined in our game code or anything. We're not going to be allowing that for obvious reasons.
And also, just to answer this question, we will not be supporting plugins just because of API differences and also for security reasons. So plugins will not work on P2CE.
Where's the plugin question?
There was no question. I just wanted to answer that.
Okay.
Anyone was wondering.
Okay, we're gonna cut that completely. Just as a note, we're now 1 hour in. We want to go 2 hours maximum, so we'll probably, get your last questions in. Hope we can read all of them. I've seen in Hammer 5.2 versus the usual 4.1 used in Empires. I don't know what that is. There's something about that. Is a weird version of an... no idea what it is.
Is it Age of Empires? Is that a Source
I don't know.
game? I don't know.
I don't know what any of this is. The whole Hammer versioning system isn't really very sophisticated.
Yeah, I
Will
mean,
it be
that's a third-party thing, so we don't know anything about that.
Will it be possible to interact with external programs using VScript, even a very limited REST-like API? Probably not, just because of security exploits. We don't want people to be able to upload a workshop map so that you can then open command and run malicious code.
We might expose something like a really restrictive RPC system where you can sort of like call into another program that registers an RPC server or something like that, but that will have to be investigated, and it would probably be very restrictive.
Yep.
Other moving types like dashing, double jumping, grappling, any plans for that? Nope, but you can do it in Chaos Script. Or even VScript right now. I've seen Celeste movement being remade in Portal 2, so...
Yes.
Has there ever been a moment where you had to step away from computer because something during development frustrated you that much?
Yes,
Plenty of times.
I have procrastinated many times.
Well, that is just how software development goes most of the time. Often, like when you think this feature is easy to implement, or like this bug is easy to fix, and you think, yeah, I'll have it done in 10 minutes, and then 5 hours later you're still there and saying, no, I won't go away from my PC now. But you're like so angry that you can't even think rational anymore. Then you just have to take a break and that. It's with all software development. I don't think anything very source specific there.
Yeah, it's kind of a part of the workflow actually, because it's like, oh, I'll just fix this bug real quick, and then it's like, cool. Now I have like 12 tabs in my editor open. I'm digging through engine code, and there's like printf
Yeah.
statements here
Yes.
or whatever. And then when it gets to that point, and you're like really annoyed, sometimes it's best to just get up and walk away, and then come back like an hour later with a clear mind, and maybe you'll just fix it real quick. It'll pop out to you.
Yeah, often it's good to come back with a clear mind. Any plans to resurrect Foundry? Have Foundry integration in Hammer with P2C?
No.
So no, okay. I've looked, like there's Foundry code everywhere in Hammer code, but I don't think it's worth the effort, because I don't think the feature is even that useful.
Yeah, we're going to be implementing Foundry equivalent features into our new Hammer anyway, so I think it's best we focus our efforts there. The original
Yes.
Foundry was not that useful, and we would have to do a significant amount of work, actually getting it to do something useful. So and also fixing it up. So yeah, better to focus our efforts elsewhere.
Well, KS script would be like Minecraft Forge with lots of events and registries.
I mean, different API, but I guess a lot of the same concepts. So I guess kinda. So
Yeah,
and
well,
it's also not Java, so
yeah, we will have. I mean, Source already has an event system, so you can hook into that, and we want to expand it a bit more. So you have,
Yeah.
so you can hook into the gel, step on gel event, for example, and that will make your own gels, for example. Will it be possible to include Chaos script code with workshop maps? Yes. That is why
it gets dynamically compiled, so you're not going to be including like DLLs or anything, because obviously that's a security issue. So it's just like raw scripts, and they'll get compiled when you start the game.
Yeah, that is also why we are restricting it this much, is because we wanted to be able to be uploaded to the workshop. Will JavaScript be supported as a Chaos script language? No,
Nope.
because that's not I already forgot what it's called. Common language runtime.
CLR, yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's not one of those languages. So, nope. Panorama currently uses JavaScript. We had thoughts about replacing it with Chaos script, so that we don't have like 3 different scripting languages in the game. We should probably rediscuss it if we want to actually do that.
Yeah, we need to discuss it more.
Yeah, we're holding it off for now because Chaos script is not yet ready, and we needed to actually start the implementation of Panorama now, but it might be something that we do in the future.
Yeah, and just to clarify, the languages that would be usable with Chaos script would be C#, F#, and Visual Basic, because those are the 3 main CLI languages that I know of. So
yeah, those are the ones like made by Microsoft. There's a bunch of other stuff like Iron Python, and what do I know? But we will only support C#.
Yeah.
Like endorse C#, have official documentation for C#, that stuff. Will emerge with Fical's Hammer. I think that a lot of those changes are pretty cool, but yeah, I don't actually know, Citadel.
Yeah, can I? Yeah, so what we will not be merging his changes in, mainly because the first reason is that we have a lot of those changes already. The second reason is a lot of those changes would be trivial to implement ourselves. And the third reason is also licensing. He would be required to essentially release his code to us under the MIT license or a MIT compatible license. Personally, I don't think that he would do that. Just from what he's said to us already, how restrictive he's been with that kind of stuff. So, it's probably just easier to implement that stuff ourselves.
Yeah, and also the whole thing about Hammer plus plus being using leaked code is something we don't really want to touch, if possible.
Yeah.
And those other reasons like support it even more. That a future rewrite of Hammer will it be made specifically for P2CE Chaos Source mods, or will you try to make it somewhat compatible with other Source games? We'll only work on Chaos script compatible games.
I mean, there's nothing really stopping you from making maps for other games, with our stuff, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could already mount assets from like pretty much any Source game. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, the SDK launcher I'm working on is supposed to be like game independent too, so you can like have just one launcher, and I can then launch a P2CE Hammer. It can launch P2CE Hammer for your mod. It can launch CS:GO Hammer. It can launch P2CE Hammer with only CS:GO content mounted onto it, stuff like that. So there's nothing stopping you from using P2CE's Hammer. I would love to have like it more standalone, but not really how it works.
One thing as well that we probably won't be able to guarantee compatibility with other Source games with our tools like actual compilation tools like VBSP and stuff, because the BSP format will be subject to change. We might change it in the future if we need to. So we can't guarantee that that's going to be compatible. But I mean, anyway, CS:GO's VBSP can't compile maps for older games anyway, so it's not really going to change anything.
Yeah, you can just edit. You can just use a different VBSP, I guess.
Yeah.
We don't really. So the question is, would it be possible to somehow encrypt the script sent out with custom maps to prevent people from copying them? We're not really planning that. So we also want to prevent people from doing malicious things anyways. So it's kind of like, I understand why you wouldn't want people copying it, but we also want the scripts to kind of be open in a way so people can look at what they do.
I think what we're going to have a policy that does not allow obfuscation of scripts in any way, and yeah, we wouldn't support any kind of anything like that.
I mean, you could always try to make them unreadable, I guess, but we're not going to support encryption. So.
Yeah.
Was the mod ever threatened by cancellation? No, not really.
No.
Was it? No. I mean, I'm not going to go into detail, but we recently had like a team meeting where we discussed it internal stuff. But we would have never like cancelled this mod.
I mean, if you think about it though, I mean, in the really, really early days, we were, it came pretty close to that because of all the licensing shit. Like, if we didn't actually get a license, then yes, P2C would have been cancelled. But we were
of course
to get one in the end.
But we didn't even start it at that point, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah.
But no, we still have like in terms of motivation, we're all still here. Also still got plans, not burned out yet. I mean, of course you have ups and downs. We recently just came from like from a down, from a bit of a down point, but that is just normal.
Yep.
Which is why we are making these Q&As, so we're interacting with the community a bit more and making some other changes, like giving more people access. A lot of people are joining the Discord server, I see. Burn through those questions really quick.
Yeah.
There's still more coming. I'd say that in like when should we stop? Because it's already like 1 hour and 20 minutes in.
We could take a few more, and I think we should also clarify the key applications and open up the form, probably.
Yeah, okay. If you want to post the... Hold on, I will...
Should we like stop question submissions at 30, like in 9 minutes? And
let's do that.
Yep.
and then take the rest of the time just to talk about keys and a bit of other stuff. Okay.
Yep.
I'll look at the clock then.
Do you want me to open the form now, or...?
I don't know what you had to say.
I said, do you want me to open the form now for the applications, or...?
Yeah, let's finish this Q&A and then we could do that, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we still got a few more.
Black Mesa maps would not be compatible at all. Way too many changes.
Yeah, we don't know their format or their BSP format.
And
so.
they've also got a million new shaders, so...
Oh yes, that too.
And entities, of course. It's
Mhm.
a completely different game.
I mean, you could try to load the content, and you would like try to load a map, and it would like crash instantly. So
Yeah. You said there won't be a plugin support. Should it be port also functionality in speedrun plugin to Chaos script? Wouldn't it be better if we just implement it into the game?
Yeah, I mean, if it's something that can't be implemented, I mean, if it's something that isn't implemented by us, then it will be implementable by you in Chaos script.
CIOM. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, I would start some discussions with us about speedrunning features that you want. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those would probably be best opened as GitHub discussions.
yes, this is a perfect time to mention GitHub discussions. So we have a discussions or we have the suggestion discussion channel.
Show it
here,
in
right?
show it in the streams a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the suggestions channel, things kind of get lost, like if you make a suggestion, there could be a million messages in that channel later, and it kind of gets buried and we'll never find it. GitHub discussions are kind of like a forum sort of thing. So things don't really get lost in there, and it allows you to kind of keep track of it easier. So yeah, I mean, open discussions on GitHub.
Yep.
There's already been a few, as you can tell.
Yep. We will not remove suggestion discussion if it's just for casual discussion, or like, hey, has this thing been thought about, or how does this affect whatever. But if you like want to have better discussions, then probably use the discussions page.
Yep.
Which is a cool new feature, and it works really well, I think.
Yep. We should also probably enable the webhook for that, just to notify everybody.
Yes, definitely. And when people use it, we'll also be more active on there. Like so far, we haven't been active there too much. I've opened up one discussion. That is just the default welcome page. We should probably look into like customizing all that.
Yeah.
About the whole I'd like to add something to the whole speedrunning thing. So right now we're like really focusing on modders and tools, and at some point we'll probably like do the same for speedrunning, right? Where we like really work closely with speedrunners to figure all of the stuff out. We can't do all at the same time. We're also just human. At least some of us are. So yeah. What are your thoughts about porting or recreate Sixth Sense mechanics?
Well, we don't have code.
Yeah, so it's not going to be a priority for us. If we did get code, then possibly, but I doubt, again, that's going to happen.
Yeah, we'd also need Sixth Sense to send us one of those ancient discontinued controllers to test stuff on. So
Oh god. Yeah, I mean, well,
Yeah.
it would. I doubt anyone would actually want to use it with an actual 6 Sense thing, because like, who has one of those in 2021? You know, what would we?
Yeah.
What we would probably do is implement support for the VR controllers, like the Knuckles or whatever the hell that is.
yeah, that'd be kind
Yeah,
of cool.
just SteamVR.
Yeah.
Supporting the like, was it like the Hydra or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was
Supporting
called
that hardware feels like is the same like as supporting Xbox 360.
Yeah.
That's just it's just
maybe a
deprecated.
bit easier. So
Yeah.
But this
But it's just deprecated.
This of course ties into the thing that we said earlier about, you know, working with Valve. I mean, if Valve ever wants to reach out to us, and I mean, you know, if there's anyone in the stream right now who is a Valve employee, please reach out to us, so that, you know, we can work together, because
Yeah.
yeah, that would really be beneficial. But you know, again, that is a faraway wish, but imagine if it happened though.
Plot twist. We've all been Valve employees the whole time.
Oh my god.
That would be a plot twist. Would be fun. Didn't even know about that. I'll add that along with the leaderboards discussion to the discussions page. Yes. What are the lab boys' favorite food? Definitely pizza.
Yeah,
pizza.
and also, well, I'll expand this to drink as well. Coke.
Yes.
oh god,
But no Coke other than Coke Classic, alright? I don't drink that diet
Of
crap.
course.
I only have
Hey.
the Classic.
I quite like Live. So I'm sad they discontinued it so quickly because I like the taste of it, and it was more healthy apparently. Don't really know if that is true or
Oh,
if there are any
and-
other backsides.
And also Burger King. Burger King is my other.
Burger King is garbage here. So only McDonald's.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
the? Both of those are trash.
No, McDonald's over here is like really good actually. Which is all the other brands are just
Burger King has
garbage.
many P2CE development sessions.
yes, and so has pizza, and
Yes.
you have to spell it with E R and not A. Pizza. That
Yeah.
yes. Have you slept for 999 days? What is I don't know what sleep. What is that word?
Yeah.
I have
it's
not slept for that many days.
Undefined symbol.
Yeah. What about 6 Sense mechanic with keyboard and mouse? Yeah, that is a different thing. I think we plan to have that.
I mean, we still need the code for the 6 Sense stuff. So
We'd still need the code for the logic, yeah. Or we can remake it ourselves, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. Not a priority at the moment.
yeah, it'd be kind of cool. But,
Would be cool. But I also feel like it's kind of game breaking. You really need to design puzzles around that. And people haven't really done it so far, so I don't expect people to do it now. If Lab was go to a restaurant and doesn't serve Coke, would Pepsi be okay? It would
No.
be okay. For
No,
me.
What?
no.
But
No.
for me alone, it would be okay. But if the Lab Boys go to restaurant, then of course not.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Not the
right
Lab
answer.
Boys.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna close this Q&A in 1 minute. So, once the clock hits 30,
And then
It's the last question.
You got
Yeah.
15 seconds.
maybe it is. now everybody stresses to get their last shitpost
Oh,
message.
God.
In.
Oh no, Goknak is sending.
Goknak
Several
is
people are
typing.
typing. Oh no.
Oh no. And it's
Oh, God.
30. Send
There we go.
messages
Oh, no.
is now disabled. Does it work? Did it?
Well, I'm an
looks
admin,
like-
so I
looks
can't
like
tell you.
someone is still typing. And they've stopped.
Okay. Will I be able to accelerate backrub out of this building if once we add Portal 1 movement? Yes. E. Yes. What's your favorite color? P2CE orange, which is 2551232.
You know
course.
the
Who-
X
who-
value by that?
I had to type it in so many times, and it is really easy. It is just max 1, 2, 3, and then 2. Come on, that is easy.
Ah, yes.
Would you win a bear knuckle fight, fist fight, space core, or turret opera?
Well,
That's
I
a
mean,
tough one.
they don't really have. Do they even have knuckles? Like,
I don't
know,
think the
Valve might
knuckles
have
were in
some
development at
control.
that point.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gum, yes. Okay. Nice. Has actually been really fun. A lot of questions, but we got through them. Pretty well, I think.
I have enabled the key application form, so
Yes.
we can go ahead and get on with
Where do
that.
where do you post that?
Oh, you want me to
Have
post the link?
You have to. How else should they know?
Yeah. I thought you already had it. Hold on.
I had it, but I already have a P2CE key.
Okay,
No,
I
I
will-
actually don't have a key.
Posting
Okay,
announcements.
hold on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, announcements. We should also get like, so we currently have where is it? Their channel access requests will probably be removed and replaced by the forum,
Yeah.
because the forum is much more organized than.
Yep. So I just.
Oh no, everyone.
I just posted it in announcements.
Now Google Forms gonna crash because 500 people request keys for this at the same time.
Oh god. What is that? What is that first reaction thing there?
No idea.
Someone
It looks
died.
like an okay buddy retard meme.
Yes.
Check flag. I'm gonna add my flag then. No. Yeah, should we ask? Should we talk a bit about how the key stuff works and why we decided to open up again?
Yeah, sure. So let me just get this hot garbage out of here. So basically, we're expanding our closed beta a little bit, because we realize that we need more people to actually effectively test test P2CE. So yeah, I mean, if you are looking for a key, you can now apply for one at this form. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Okay. So the plan was that we would. So when we first started giving out keys to mods, the plan was that we would use these mods to figure out how our modding and tooling works. It didn't work out that well because mods didn't really use it too much. There was a lot of lack of communication between us and the mods, and that in the meantime we rejected all of the requests to get mods because we can't oversee 15 modders at the same time, all having the same setup issues. So we wanted to figure it out first and then expand later, which didn't work out. There are mods, of course, that are running on P2C, but yeah, we didn't manage the communication well. So now we're expanding and giving more people access to the mod to work on the mods. Give access to the mod to work on the mods. Yes, and also just to use it, privately, I guess.
Yeah.
Also because we extended the deadline. Not the deadline. We extended the release date of P2C, so we want to give more people access because we've kept you guys waiting too long. We don't go into open beta already because that will just look really bad for us if it has crashes and it's just an incomplete game and it is just Portal 2 over again, but a different engine, which most people they don't see what the difference is. But we also know that there are a lot of people that don't care that it is unstable, that don't care that it is it isn't unstable. It is still stable. It is just still a bit jank. There are people that would already love to work more than this, so we don't want to stop those people from doing what they want. Yeah, so we don't really want to have a clear cut like if you need to have these requirements to get a key. It's just send an application. If we already know you, and you've been active here, and we know that you can contribute well and help us with fixing bugs and all that, then you'll probably get a key. If we've only just met you, and you've only like joined the server 2 minutes ago, then maybe not. Just saying. Yeah, we can't give out a key to everyone, but we want to open up. What kind of feedback and detail is needed for bug tracking? Well, you should just be able to like describe what a bug is. Often I would get pinged. Yeah, often we would get pinged like, my game crashed. Why? Yeah, like as a tester, you should be able to
Not necessarily.
help in fixing and identifying what a bug is.
Yeah, kind of like, you just need to be willing to open a GitHub issue, not necessarily like describe and figure out and debug the bug yourself or something. Just not like, oh, my game crashed.
Bad game.
Know how to fix this? Just open a
Yeah, I'm gonna have to deal with the crashes, even though the CE is still under development. That's what you expect in beta testing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need everybody to understand that. And if we did a Steam release, that's obviously not.
If you can publicly download it, you won't understand that it's still a beta. Even no matter how many warning labels you add, people don't care. They will still see it.
I already submitted my thingy is shown in the announcement. So.
Oh, your key application. Yeah, we'll look at it later then. We'll go for.
Yeah, no need to rush.
Yes.
Also, thank you for liking my comment in response of the delay.
Oh, I just realized this
It
was
was
on.
just really nice to have
Yes.
it today.
And now everyone realizes that they
Nice,
haven't
but
been
very
muted.
honest, because to make it more smoother, it needs more time. You can't rush it. Look what happened to I don't know how many times it's been delayed, but I guess they kind of a little bit rushed Cyberpunk 2077. It was buggy, like glitches and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I never played it before, but I think it was playable. But you encounter glitches and stuff.
Well, Cyberpunk is a much bigger game, but by a much bigger studio. You can't really compare it that well.
Yeah,
But of
internal
course.
management.
Yeah.
As someone who once rushed something, I have PTSD. I will never rush something again. And
Yeah.
I know you.
Are
we
we
have
supposed to
to-
be just talking in this channel, or are we supposed to wait for?
Yeah, maybe wait for us to pick you up.
To quote a user, to quote a game maker, Shigeru Miyamoto, he says that rushing will not make the game more perfect. You need delaying it. If you need more time, you delay it.
Yeah, definitely.
The direct quote is, a delayed game is potentially good, but a rushed game is always bad.
Exactly.
Yeah. We here have the liberty of not having a producer behind our neck, forcing us to release on this date no matter what. We don't care if the audio doesn't work. Release it now.
You just remove audio entirely. It will be fine.
Yes.
No one needs to hear Wheatley anyways.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm kidding.
Okay, so JJ Citadel, anything else? So, because otherwise I think we're pretty much done here and can wrap this up.
Yeah,
Do you think
that's it.
should I stop the stream now? I could probably.
Yeah, I guess that concludes the Q&A.